Now, if you are a content provider of any form of training material, everything from the therapies, NLP, hypnotherapy, personal development, financial freedom, EFT, any of the other things where you have online content, membership programs or DVD or audio programs, you need to watch this video. And I'm also going to urge you to share this with your colleagues. This is a massive bootlegging operation, which I have now been trying for 4 to 5 months to get law enforcement to bring action against. And so far, I have had no reply from anybody. Now, I believe I have identified the people who are behind this, or at least people who have a connection to the enterprise that is going on. To give a summary of what this is a franchise system. So these people have got a massive amount of your material. If you think you've not been affected, the chances are you're wrong and your material is being sold and you have no awareness of this material being sold, and of course you're not seeing the revenue from it. These other people are. Now, here's how it appears to be set up. You have a central site which has all of the material on it, and it is a massive website, massive. And they are selling franchises to other people who can then basically set up a replica site. They change the general appearance, but the structure of the site is the same. It has the same coding. It has the same content. And these sites keep cropping up again and again and again. So the original bootleggers are not only selling your material, they're selling a franchise of the material to other people to resell it. And you may think there's just one site and you send them that takedown notice and amazing, they take it down. Because those individual resellers are afraid, more sites just keep cropping up. I'm going to show you where these sites are. In the link below is going to be some of the links. I'm going to give you a paste bin link as well, which is just text only, so you can see what I sent over to the police a number of months ago. And I'm going to urge you as well, please, to take action and to notify your colleagues. So let's just change the setup here so I can show you what we're looking at. So we just look at the first site that I came across. This is intelplanet.com. Now, this was the first one that came up on my radar. The reason I came across this was simply because I was having a hacking issue with my websites, and I put all sorts of tracking software and analysis software on the sites. It cost me a fortune because a lot of the sites were damaged and destroyed by the hacking. In the research that I did, this was the first site that I came across. Now, I don't think there's actually a direct connection between these two events. I think this is just because I was looking for things and I found this site. Now, obviously, at the moment, they're cashing in on the COVID crisis. But if we just have a look at what's on offer here, the chances are very high your products are going to be here. There is literally thousands upon thousands of items here. Just look at the product categories they've got. If we go into NPL and hypnosis, this is intelplanet.com. You want to start having a look, you will see tons and tons of stuff in there. Just have a little look down, and that's 140 pages, and on each page there's got to be about 30 items, and that's a lot of product. So what I started to do was to investigate this website along with a couple of colleagues who were very helpful in pointing out things I needed to look at, and also found a few bits and bobs. Now, the first thing I started to do was to look for spelling and typo issues within the website. So if we look down here within the how to buy customer service type stuff, you'll find somewhere within here there's some typos. I'll spare the typos because I've already copy and pasted. So if we now go to another browser and I type in the typo that exists, so I've got the full sentence string, which was, we'll provide the download link accordingly with the email address on your order receipt. And you'll see just the typo on that there. So I type that in as a letter string, go into Google search, and hey presto. Oh, I've got to put it within quotations so it comes up as a precise search. Now we will find all of the clone websites that use the same, basically it's exactly the same website, but these are now owned by different people because I think they have bought the site. So now we have 10 library. So we just click on this one. It will probably have a different appearance, but essentially the same overt structure and the same content being sold. Now, if we come down here, we've got Socky Agency. Okay, and that now defaults over to the default edu.com, and we'll see this a lot. An awful lot of redirects and endless redirects and lots of sites. They are constantly being cloned and reproduced and moving around at the same time. And here we'll find, again, it's the same structure, just different appearance. And down there, you can just see how many pages of content these sites have. It's a massive operation. So if you do those things yourself, if you type that in, you'll see just how many websites are actually reproducing the content that we see on this particular site here. So we just go to the pastebin link, which is in the video below. Some of the details that you may just want to be interested in. They all these websites use PayPal as their payment handler. Now, I contacted PayPal, as did a number of colleagues. PayPal, of course, did their brilliant thing of just completely ignoring all correspondence. I also contacted Vimeo, because Vimeo are the video host for all of these videos. And guess what Vimeo did? They completely ignored all correspondence. I contacted CloudFlare, because CloudFlare are basically it's a compression service. It's a way of speeding up websites and redirecting stuff. CloudFlare, massive company, contacted them, and we had no response from them either. The domain registrations are all done through namecheap.com, contacted them, and I got a reply. I got a reply that basically said it's not their problem and there's nothing they can do about it. Thank you, everybody there, for being so helpful. So now what I'm willing to say is I believe PayPal and Vimeo and CloudFlare, they know that their services are being used for this huge bootlegging operation. This is a massive criminal enterprise, and they don't care. So you may want to address those if you write off your emails of angry complaint. Now, the domain names are numerous. As I say, there's lots and lots of them. On the pastebin link, some of those now redirect to sites that will actually infect your computer. So I've labeled them. Don't click on the ones, or don't type those into the browser just to look out of curiosity, unless you know what you're doing, because the chances are you will then have a malware type situation on your computer of some description. So now what we find, if we go to the code of the website, now this took just days, absolute days of sifting through. There was a number of things that I found within the Intel Planet website. Now I'm just going to pull this up here so you can see what it is I'm talking about. Right, so I just pulled up on the screen here. This is part of the source code for the admins and users. Now this may look like gibberish to most people. And essentially what this does is it gives us the usernames of 3 users. And this is the first and second user of the website. So they will inevitably be the admins. And we also have somebody who's the 48th user who also has posting privileges. So they also appear to be an admin. Now the username of these 3 are Lick, Inside, and Taurus. And on subsequent websites that have appeared, they appear to be working their way through the astrology names, because we have Aquarius and Pisces and various. And I suspect that's just an arbitrary assignment for whoever has purchased into the franchise. So I started to have a little look on some of the details, and we find, if we go to Inside, so he's the first one. What we find is that where he posts, there's actually a gravatar image. And that gravatar image turns out to be this person. Let's just find it. And when we follow the gravatar image of the admin Inside, it takes us to this gentleman here. Now, I don't know if this is actually the person who is presented to be the person on the website. This is Jan Thomas Gerard. He's a Swiss national who I don't know where he is. Now, I have contacted his sister, and I had an online exchange with his sister. And the reason I contacted the sister was because I have messaged this Jan, telling him of what I'm concerned about I've emailed him, I have sent him messages on LinkedIn, I have sent him messages on Facebook. I have messaged him via other online profiles, and I've had no reply, and I've repeatedly messaged. So without getting a reply, I thought, okay, I've got to check this out. So I then contacted his sister, who got back to me straight away and said she will try and get hold of him. And then basically went cold very, very quickly, saying that she didn't know where he was, he's too hard to contact, and that's that. And I had no further reply from her. So that went very, very cold, very, very quickly. Now, I'm not one to want to accuse anybody. However, it would be nice to speak to Jan just to find out, okay, does he know his image is being used? And what, would he like to assist to find out why his image is being used? I just don't know. Now, looking through the other two admins, Taurus, I've not managed to track down. I don't know who that is. So if anyone else can help with that one, that would be much appreciated. However, I did manage to find the person who coded the website. Now, unfortunately, Google Archive has now removed all this data. But I'm sure those who know how will be able to find this. And this turns out to be a Vietnamese national by the name of Kilo, K-I-L-O. And I think this is the person known as Lick as the admin. Now, the way I found this was because I started testing lines of dodgy code from the website. And I found on one of the coding forums from a number of years ago, just before this particular website shifted, this is the Intel Planet site I'm talking about, just before this site shifted from selling bootleg digital books to selling audio downloads, he was having trouble coding some of the download software. And he'd posted a particular line of code. Now, by finding that particular piece of code, I found the post referring to a conversation on a closed forum where Kilo was having a conversation with somebody else about how to fix the download issue. And at the time, I managed to get some screen captures of that, and I've got that documented. However, from the Google Archives and all the rest, that's now been removed. Now, if we just pull up Kilo, so I'll just go to Facebook, and I'll just show you. Oh, by the way, Jan Thomas Gerard, you'll find him on Facebook as well. Although his profile doesn't appear to have been live since 2017. Although it might well be the privacy setting, so I can't see because I'm not actually a direct connection. So now let's just pull up Kilo, and the photos match up and the name matches up. Everything here, this is the guy that was writing on the forums. There is no ambiguity here. I am willing to say this guy was the man who made the post looking for the coding. Now, whether he actually is the character Lick as the admin, I don't know. I've got no evidence of that whatsoever. However, I do know he was involved in working on that particular website. Now, it's just as a little aside, I've got an ongoing romance with this guy under my false profile. And no, I won't tell you what my false profile is. I'm hoping he will give me some additional information as the romance blossoms. This has been going on for a few months now. So that's about it. What I urge you to do is to have a look on these bootleg websites. The links will be in the video description below. I'm going to urge everybody to please contact the law enforcement agencies, particularly the digital piracy wing of the FBI. America seems to be the only country that actually takes this stuff seriously. The reality is, though, they are probably so overwhelmed with how many thousands of emails must they get of complaints per week? The chances of being picked up and then having this looked at, I suspect, is very, very small. But given the extent of the operation and the size of the franchise, I think it's big enough to warrant that level of investigation. The trick is to actually get these guys to actually pick it up in the first place, because it's like a drop in the ocean of a massive sea of complaints, I suspect. So any assistance people can give, if anyone wants to investigate further and send over the details to me, that would be great. I would urge people to avoid doing anything illegal. I would urge people to avoid making any outrageous accusations. If you find someone you think is definitely the person, don't be too hasty. I've had a number of leads where it absolutely looked to me like it was that person. And of course, coincidences do happen. And so they were quickly ruled out as suspects, so to speak. So any additional information you got, that'd be fantastic. Use the comment section below, send me an email, and let's see what we can do about this. This is huge. Please share it with your colleagues. And don't just go, oh, isn't that awful? I'll send them a DCM, whatever, notice to take it down. That's not going to help. They'll just keep cloning your material and put it onto new sites. If you look at the user data just to see how many people have bought this material, it is thousands. They are probably selling more of your product than you are. Just thought I'd mention it.